that's it. That's me leaving Carcassonne. I can only stay there for 2 nights because today the campsite closes for winter. That's one of the things when you come into Europe later in the year. A lot of the campsites start to close, which does start to make things difficult. So I would have liked to have stayed for 3 nights, but because it's closing today, all I can do is 2 nights. But Carcassonne, if you love history, if you love castles, come to Carcassonne. It is absolutely, the castle there is absolutely breathtaking. It's a medieval castle, and fortifications were established about 75 BC by the Romans. Yeah, the Romans! Who'd have thought the Romans established a settlement? But they established a settlement there because it was on the main trade route between Toulouse and the Mediterranean Sea. So they made fortifications, which was these big towers, which much of the towers still exist today, and all they did was built on them later on in years. But so they started to build a settlement, and about 950, 970 they started to build a castle there over the existing Roman fortifications, and that's when the first fort was established. And then they started to build it up steadily, and then about 1050 there was quite a lot of turmoil, and a lot of fighting between France and Spain because France had established itself, and also about early on, about 1020, something like that, they had a new pope, and at that time there was 2 brands of Catholicism. There was the Pope's brand, and then there were sort of offshoots to it. And the Pope didn't like that, and he wanted everyone to fall in line. So they introduced the Inquisition, and the Cavalier and the what are they called now? I've just had the name in my head and it's completely disappeared. The Crusaders, that's it, yeah, the Crusaders. So, for all the upstarts who didn't believe in the purest form of Catholicism, I didn't want to follow the Pope, then the Crusaders would come a-knocking. And about 1050 there was a big siege at Carcassonne. Lasted for a long time, and it was quite cruel, and eventually the Crusaders won. Basically they starved them out. So once they took hold of the castle, the Viscount who was in charge there, he got executed, which is the normal way, and they put a new Viscount in charge of the area under papal control, and that was it. Peace overcome. But then they realised, really, because at that stage France had become France, a proper country, and this part of the world they'd always been squabbling with the Spanish for who owns what. But the people at Carcassonne, the Viscount there, realised how much of a stronghold it was, so they decided to make it into a proper fortress. So about 1060 they started to increase the size of it, and they added 1 bastion around it, 1 set of walls, and that wasn't good enough, so they built a second set. So what you've got a fort in the middle, and then you've got a wall, then an outer wall. And by the time they finished it, 1120, something like that, it was completely impregnable. It was the state of the art of modern castles. completely impregnable, and because it was so impregnable, the Spanish decided to leave it alone and says, oh, we'll give that a miss, and that was it. And Carcassonne was a true example of the state-of-the-art medieval castles, and it was very heavily protected, and it was high on a hill, and you would have had a heck of a job to try and get through. But that was it. So it remained like that for many years. But then, about the 1500s, that's when they started to mass produce bronze cannons, and that's when they realised that maybe it wasn't as impregnable as they thought. But by that time, France was always in peace, so it wasn't too bad. But they never put any gun emplacements there, because they realised that if you start to have a shooting war, then there wouldn't be much point. So from the 1500s, it just became a military fortress, and there was always a military garrison there, and it stayed that way for a little while longer. In fact, there was military there until the middle of the 1800s, but by the 1600s it started to fall into disrepair. It was no longer a bastion of the area, it was redundant, so it started to fall in decline. So about 1850, there was a French chap, he was an architect, he loved architecture, and he realised that Carcassonne Castle was truly unique, and he started to position the government that it should be saved for posterity. I always get posterity and prosperity mixed up, but this guy, I cannot remember his name now, but he petitioned the government, and the French government says, yeah, fair enough. So they hired a renowned architect, and then they started to save what was there and reconstruct what was there. And the architect who they put in charge, he wanted it to be like it was in its heyday, back in medieval times, and that's what they did, and that's what you get now. They've done a really good job, and as you're walking around, you'll see some bits that are obviously newer than the rest, which they've recreated, but it is really quite fascinating. The actual castle bit was actually in pretty good nick, because that was a military headquarters and the army looked after it. But the small town within the city walls, that was in ruin, and a lot of enterprising people from the nearby town started to take stones away. But they recreated what's there now, and it is truly marvellous. So there we go, that was Carcassonne. I would have liked to stay there another day. I would have loved to go back again, because sometimes if you go there for a day, you miss things. I would love to have gone back and seen more, but such is life. So I'm heading north now. Going to get on the motorway shortly, then start heading towards Toulouse. I don't know what the problem is with when they get roundabouts. You always seem to get lots of tailbacks at roundabouts. But there you go. So I'm heading going to get on the motorway shortly, going to head to Toulouse, then head north to Bilbao. Now the plan of action for today was to sort of slip over the Alps, pop into Spain, and go to Bilbao that way. I'd been looking on Google Maps, and there's some really nice roads as you come over the Alps, and I was looking forward to doing them. But once I get past Toulouse, the heavens are going to open, and I'm going to get rain for the rest of the day. So all the way from Toulouse to Bilbao it's going to be wet, and there is no way I'm going to go over the Alps in big rain. In fact, over the Alps they're looking at thunderstorms and really heavy rain. So once I get past Toulouse, I'll get my waterproofs on, get my head down and just eat up the miles. So that's for today, and also tomorrow lots of rain as well in northern Spain. So I was going to camp for the next 2 nights, but sod that for a game of soldiers. So I'm going to go into a hotel for 2 nights, because I just don't see the joy in sitting in a tent in heavy rain. I just don't see the point of it at all. And it's my last 2 nights, so a little bit of comfort, as I've been on a blow up mat now for the past 2 months, past what is it, 9-10 weeks, something like that. So I quite like the idea of a hotel with a private shower, and I can stand under the shower as long as I want without having to press the button behind me, because the shower only lasts for about 30 seconds, which is what you get on most campsites. So it's a little bit of a treat to myself, and I found myself a little hotel. It's about 14 miles to the north west of Bilbao. It's got underground parking, so the bike will be safe. I can leave it loaded up, ensuite, and it's 50 quid a night, and I can't grumble at that. So this is my journey coming to an end, a wet end, because you can see it ahead. It's just grey, and the strange thing is it's 20 degrees. It's really quite warm, and I've put my inner on I put my inside jacket in, put the inner inside my riding jacket. Sweating like Prince Andrew at a youth club at the moment, but there we go. That's one of the things with motorcycling. You're either too cold or too warm. There's never a happy medium sometimes. Oh, McDonald's. Didn't know that was there. Could have stopped there for a breakfast. No, I've had my breakfast, so I'm okay. I'm just being greedy. Oh, almost a bit of blue sky there. You can just see the Alps over there. Well, what we're going to do is go that way and keep to the east of the Alps, the Pyrenees. Keep to the right of the Pyrenees. Am I going this way? Yeah, I'm going this way. And just keep heading north, and then once I get almost to the end there, I'm just going to finally pop across to Spain. No, I missed my turning. That bus threw me off. There we go, must be this way. Yeah, we go. Sometimes I find French junctions a little bit confusing. Same way as Italian junctions. So look at that. I bet that's never been as far as, but that's never been off-road. When I was in Morocco, you'd see loads and loads of vehicles like that. They always look top heavy to me, but northern Morocco was about the limit. Although when I was in Senegal and the Gambia, I did see some real beasts like that. What do I do here? Ticket, Biblio. There we go. Put that on there. That's one of the drawbacks for being on a bike, because when you come on a toll road, you've got to stop, get your ticket, put it somewhere safe, get your gloves back on, and then proceed with caution. So that's me now on the motorway. Don't know what the tolls are going to be. Again, ideally, if the weather would have been if the weather would have been better today, I would have liked to have stayed off the motorway and just made my way up north using the A and the B roads, and maybe camped out somewhere wild tonight to make my way to Bilbao tomorrow, but no way, I'm not doing it. It's no fun in the rain. Just don't see the point of it. I do this because I like to enjoy myself, and to me this is enjoyment. Being out on the open road, camping, seeing new places, but riding in the rain is not one of the enjoyments. That is, no, not at all. Right, I'm going to stop waffling now. I'm going to shut up. So, if you're ever in this part of France, please come to Carcassonne and see the castle. It was absolutely stunning, and it was, believe it or not, it was €8 to get in. €8. If that would have been National Trust, you would have had to take a year's subscription and given them half a kidney if that was National Trust. And it was brilliant, €8, and you could go all around the castle bit, and you could go all around the battlements around the side. And my gosh, what a big walk it was, because the battlements actually work and you can go all the way round, and you're up and down, and when I got back last night, my little legs were in agony. I was so tired last night, so tired, but 9:30 I was in my sleeping bag snoring away. So if you're in this part of France, please go to Carcassonne. It's absolutely brilliant. Right, I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to put the music on, and I'm going to make my way north and wait for this rain. I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.
this how we end up? Shades of blue and gray. I feel just like an empty bottle. My dreams are on delay. I just wanna climb on top of a hill and throw it all away, away. Take me far away before my mind spins off and I am all derailed, derailed. Just drive all the way to the rainbow's end. Just drive, and we'll never turn our backs again. So this is how we end up. The game is set to play. Every day remains the same now. One decision we obey. I just wanna climb on top of a hill and throw it all away, away. Take me far away before my mind spins off and I am all derailed, derailed. Just drive all the way to the rainbow's end. Just drive, and we'll never turn our backs again. Just drive. Just drive. Just drive. Art and guilty pleasure, things that we can't measure, take us to the moon. Heaven, hell, or apathy, Indian, Asian, European, we. No one is immune. Spark deep inside, we all thrive, and the man on the other side is a reflection of you and I. Spark, the antidote of our lies. Cut down on correction, lead us with affection. All or nothing, no gray zones. Species die, no major tones. Take us to the moon. Ancient Greek and dinosaurs. If you were here, you show us remorse. No one is immune. Spark deep inside, we all thrive, and the man on the other side is a reflection of you and I. Spark, the antidote reflection of you and I. Spark the antidote of our lies. Cut down on correction. Lead us with affection.
This'll do for me. And hello the internet, and hello to my subscriber. And here I am in Bilbao in northern Spain, and what an utterly boring, relentless, horrible day that was. And I left the campsite this morning at Carcassonne, and it was lovely, it was warm, and there was a blue sky, bluish sky, it was a little bit overcast. And then I headed out towards Toulouse. And then just after Toulouse, that's when the rain started. And it's been raining all the way until I got to Bilbao. Just before I got to Bilbao, it stopped raining and the sun come out and I got blue sky. But for all day, I've just been riding in the rain. And if you're on two wheels, you just know it's no fun riding in the rain. And I had my over boots on, so my feet were dry, and I had my over trousers and my over jacket on, and then the rain had started to get in through my neck. My gloves gave up the ghost. I bought some waterproof gloves, winter gloves. The problem with it is that you get them on at first, it's great, but then when you stop for your first fuel stop, you try to get your hands in your gloves again. You can't get your hands in. So I ended up putting my summer gloves on, so I was riding with wet hands for most of the day. And then the water started coming down my neck, and then the crutch went, and I could feel my bum getting wetter and wetter as the day got on. But that's the nature of the beast, isn't it, really? But yeah, so I got to Bilbao, and knowing that the weather forecast today was just going to be rain, and I looked for tomorrow's forecast, and there was even more rain due tomorrow, Saturday. So I thought, well, what's the point of spending 2 nights camping in the rain? So I booked myself into a hotel, and I just looked on booking.com, and I didn't want anything in the centre of Bilbao because we've always got the problem of parking up, and you've got to get all the luggage off and stuff like that. So I was looking further out, and then I saw a new hotel and it had underground parking, and I thought that'll do for me, and that was it. So £100 for 2 nights, including the parking downstairs, and it's got Wi-Fi, it's got a big TV, and just outside across the road there's a big supermarket. So I've just been out to get some food, and that's me sorted. And they've got breakfast in the morning. I don't know, see if I get up. I might have a lie-in tomorrow, I'm afraid. I was hoping tomorrow to have a wander around Bilbao, because sometimes you've got a ferry port and you don't really see the port, the city itself, do you really? And I did that like earlier this year when I was at Santander. I got there a day earlier so I could have a wander around Santander, and nice little city. And I was planning to do that as well, but tomorrow it's just going to be non-stop heavy rain all day. So tomorrow I'm just going to be staying in my hotel room and hibernating. I'm going to have a lie-in and catch up on some Zeds, as they say. But my ferry is on Sunday morning. 11 o'clock sailing means got to be there at least an hour before, so get there about 9:30 and there should be no problem at all. And from where I am, I'm about 12 miles further north of Bilbao, just to the northwest, so no problem at all. I can be down to the ferry port in 20 minutes. So that's me, tucked up, nice and warm in a nice little hotel. I'm quite surprised. I'm not used to this sort of level of luxury, to be honest. There's a big walk-in shower there, and it's nice and warm, and the bed's nice and comfy. And I've not been here long. The room looks like it's been burgled, and my bags have just erupted everywhere. So there you go. But gosh, yeah, that's it. It's just everywhere. So that's me. I just wanted to finish off this video so I can get it uploaded, because I've got free internet and it's good internet. But it's been a great trip. unlike earlier in the year when I went to West Africa, that was a trip. It really was. And this, I was thinking, I mean, initially I had the idea of going to Saudi Arabia, but you just can't get through Iraq at the moment. So I thought I hedged my bets, and when I got down to Italy, that's when I found out the border was still closed, and then everyone's throwing missiles at each other. So forget that. And then I thought, okay, then I'll go to Greece, and then I'll come back via the Balkans. But then there was lots of bad weather over the Balkans, and I thought it's too late in the year. That's my problem really. I left it. I should have left at the back end of July, or at least the beginning of August. But there's always next year. There's always next year. But I've had a good trip all the way through Germany, Liechtenstein, over the Alps into Italy, through Italy, over to Sardinia, up to Corsica, into Spain, now into France, and back to northern Spain again, ready to catch my ferry. So it's been a good little trip. I've not calculated the mileage yet. I dread to think. I probably think it'll be about 4 to 5,000 miles, something like that. I don't know, but it's I don't know, the V Strom the way it is, it just keeps going forever. You know, I rarely tend to look at the mileage. I'm not one of these counters. I have a rough idea of the mileage from A to B, and that's like your lot. Today was a long slog. What was it today? Now it's about 300 about 350 miles, something like that, maybe a little bit more than 350. So it was okay, but I think if it would have been nice, I would have found it maybe a little bit tiresome, but because it was raining, I just felt miserable all day, really. So I didn't have time to think about my bum going to sleep and things like that. And then I stopped at one point for some fuel, and I went in for a panini and a cup of coffee. And everyone just stopped and looked at me because I just walked in this dripping wet mess, traipsing water all over the floor. But there you go. And that's another struggle, is when you've got all your waterproofs on, having to go to the toilet, you've got to unzip this, unzip that, and oh God, pain in the backside. But that's the rain, isn't it? And that's the nature of motorcycles. So this is me on my luxury bed in my little bijou hotel, staying nice and warm and dry, and there we go. So next video is when I'm crossing over to Ireland, and that's the ferry on Sunday, crossing over to Rosslare. We get in at 2:30 in the afternoon, so what I'm going to try and do is do a mad dash up to Belfast, and there's a ferry at 7:30 in the evening, and if I can catch that, then I can be home and in my own bed by about 11 o'clock at night. Yeah. So there we go. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.